Hello everyone, this is awesh and this is episode 2 of Angular development. So in this episode we are going to know about Angular. So for that I have prepared a simple or you can say a short PowerPoint presentation so that you can better understand the concepts. Okay, so this particular video is going to be kind of theoretical. So before wasting any more time, let us just start the session. So this is the things which will be covered in this video, like what is Angular, what is the differences between Angular and AngularJS, what is TS, that is TypeScript, what is single page application, and what are the differences between server side and client side applications. Okay, so to start this course, you have to have some basic knowledge of HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Okay, so this particular course is going to rely on these three things majorly. And don't worry if you don't know, or if you are a absolute beginner in this field, I will be just uploading a video on HTML, CSS, JavaScript, but let me know in the comment section if you want that or not. Okay, so let's just get started. All right. So the very first question, like when you are going to learn Angular development, the very first question in your mind will be like, what is actually the Angular thing? What is this? So Angular is basically an open source JavaScript framework, and it is actually written in TypeScript and maintained by Google. So basically, it is a MVC framework that is component based. I mean to say, like it is following MVC architecture, but instead of having controllers, we are having components. Okay, don't worry if you don't get this particular term. You will be understanding this in the later in the video. Then the Angular is primarily used to develop client-side applications, that is also called as front-end applications, and you can say it as a single page applications because it shares only a single HTML document. Don't worry, what is single page application you will be knowing in the next slides. Then it is good for its structure and consistency. Like if you are going to develop a very huge project in Angular, it will be super easy to manage that, and it will be consistent throughout the project development. All right. Then it has excellent scalability and maintainability. Like if you have developed a huge project in Angular, and you may have seen like in some other languages or in some other technologies, if the project size is increasing, there is complexity that is also increasing. But in case of Angular, it is very easy to maintain that particular project also. All right, and the very most important thing is like Angular is not AngularJS. So AngularJS is something that is library, JavaScript library. Okay, but Angular is something that is newer version of AngularJS. So Angular is also referred to be Angular version 2 because prior versions were AngularJS. Okay, so let me know if you have any more question about Angular. Let me know just into comment section. I will be answering them. All right. So this slide shows what all differences are there in Angular and AngularJS. Okay. So this is more of a theory part. Don't get bored of it. So the very first difference is like its architecture. So Angular uses component and directives. So the course you are going to learn, the Angular, it is actually a component and directive based. But in AngularJS, it works on model view controller design. So it has multiple controllers. Like AngularJS has multiple controllers in it. Then the language thing, Angular code is written in Microsoft TypeScript. Okay, but AngularJS code is written in plain JavaScript. It was totally a JavaScript code. Angular is actually mobile friendly, and you can develop mobile applications through Angular also. But AngularJS is not mobile friendly. You cannot actually develop mobile applications using AngularJS. Then there are so many differences. You can just pause the screen and learn them at your side itself. There are so many differences you can find on the other sources also. So let's just get to the next slide. In this slide, we are going to understand what is TS. TS actually stands for TypeScript. It is maintained by Microsoft, and TypeScript is actually superset of JavaScript. So whatever you are going to write in TS, it is going to be converted to a JavaScript equivalent. Now, in the Angular development, you will be developing your code into TS, that is TypeScript, and the Angular compiler or the compiler that is already included in Angular project will be responsible to compile the TS code to JavaScript. Okay, so in this diagram, you can just see like TypeScript is going to be supplied to a TypeScript compiler, and TypeScript compiler is going to compile that to equivalent JavaScript. Okay, so uh, let us just go to the next slide, and that is regarding SPA. So SPA actually stands for single page application, and why it is being told as single page application, because it only shares a single document for all the screens. Okay, like in your project there must be number of pages, but there will be only a single document that is going to be used for all those pages or all those screens. Okay, and the beauty of these single page applications are like they don't require any reloading or refreshing. It is simply you are requesting anything, it is going to display you. Okay, then there are few examples of single page applications like Facebook, Gmail, Google Maps, and so many things. Okay, now so whatever applications you are going to develop in Angular, it is going to be single page applications. Now, single page applications have few benefits and disadvantages also. Okay, so the first benefit says that it is having better speed. So once the single page application is loaded in your browser or at the client side, it is going to perform faster than the other type of projects. Okay, like you are going to click any link, it is going to just open the screen quickly. Then it has enhanced user experience. You can just create using user experience efficiently and simply in single page application, and it is also better than that other type of applications. It is easy to debug. You can debug it easier through any browser, or there are so many plugins also you can use to debug. And if I talk about the disadvantages, the very first disadvantage is like its initial load time. So if you are opening a new website that you have not visited in past, then that load time is larger for that particular website. And this is because the browser actually trying to load the entire project files in it, and then once loaded, it is going to serve you the pages. Like at the very first time, the server is sending you the entire thing of the project, like all the JavaScript related codes to the browser, and then whenever user is required to open any screen or open any page, the browser itself is going to serve that page to the user. Okay, and the next thing is like it is poor for search engine optimization, because there are single page only, so you cannot like, or you have some complexity to include the tags that will be detectable from the Google search engine or on other search engines also. Okay, there are a few more disadvantages. You can search them by your own. In this slide, we are going to actually differentiate client-side applications and server-side applications. So let us just first understand what is server-side applications. So server-side applications are like ASP.NET, JSP, and etc. So they are actually hosted on a server, and when there are any requests coming from the client side, it is going to respond with the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and the related data. Like everything will be including in the response. So if you even send a simple request, it is going to send you the same thing like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and data. In further request also, the response type will be the same, like it is going to send you the complete thing. So once the browser will receive HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and data, it is going to render it on the browser at the client side. So this is why server side applications took more time to load the pages. Okay, but if we talk about client side applications, it first in the first request of that client side application, it is going to take a bit longer time, because it is going to load all the application files or all the application code in JavaScript to the browser, and then in the further request it is going to only load the required data, because HTML and all the markup things are already available in the client or in the browser. So there is no need to request for HTML, CSS, JavaScript as server side does. Okay, so that is why client side applications are relatively very faster than the server side applications. Okay, because it only receive the data from the server, and rest of the things already client is serving. All right, I hope you got this difference. So if you know, if you don't, let me just know in the comment section. I will be creating another video, and I will try to answer there. Okay, so these are few examples of client side or server side applications. So few server side applications are like ASP.NET MVC, ASP.NET web applications. Okay, and if we talk about client side applications, it is Angular, React, Vue.js. So these are like client side applications. All right, so let's just move to the next slide. That is the disadvantages and advantages of client side applications. Okay, so in this slide we are actually going to see in details like what all the advantages and what all the disadvantages of a single page application or a client side application. Okay, so if we talk about the advantages, the very first advantage is like the response time is often quicker. So in the previous slide, if you remember, where I have explained this difference between client side application and server side applications, the response time in client side application is very quick. Like when you click on any link, it is going to show you the data. All right, but if you see in the server side applications, if you click on any link, it is going to first request to the server, get the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and everything with data, and then render you. So it is very faster. Like client side applications are very faster. Then it reduces the web server workload. Okay, so this second point says, like, since we are not getting any HTML, CSS, JavaScript in the response, so automatically we are saving the server's workload, right? The payload of the server is going to be reduced. Like the size of the payload will be less as compared to server side applications, because it is only containing the required data, right? The next point says it is much faster than server side scripts. Okay, so this point actually says, like, if you have some prior experience in ASP.NET or some JSP like JavaScript framework, so there are some server side controls like input boxes. There are input boxes, so they are actually going to be compiled on the server first, then it is going to be rendered on the client side. But in client side applications, it is plain HTML, and that too will be available in the client side itself. So it is that way, it is faster. If we talk about few disadvantages, the very first disadvantage is like it is browser specific. So to get an example, if we talk about Internet Explorer, the single page applications or the client-side application written in Angular, it is not going to work. Though it can work with some modifications, but it will not fully work in the Internet Explorer. So these kind of browser compatibility are there. If we are going to create any client-side application, we must consider these things, okay, before creating the whole project. And maybe there are few browsers that is not going to support that particular functionality. So we first see the disadvantage of that particular client-side application. The second disadvantage could be the code in your client-side script is completely visible to the user, right? So you have seen, like in client-side application, the code thing is available in the browser or at the client side. So maybe user can view all your code in JavaScript and they can have some attacks on it also, right? The third disadvantage could be like in case of mobile devices and slow internet, some performance deficiency may appear. Okay, so let us just consider that our client-side application is going to be used by any mobile device or the device that is having slow internet. Okay, so there might be some performance issues, you can see. All right, so with that, we are going to the next slide, and it is related to question and answer. So I am just requesting you all to give your suggestions in the comment box, and yeah, of course, if you have any questions, just comment me. All right, so thank you for watching this video. Let's meet in the next session that will be related to like creation of an Angular project and understanding of the different files that is going to be available in that particular project. Okay, so thanks.